So I still want to deliver you the 21 challenge day about the mental faculty, the reason. And so wherever you are looking this right now, if you're waking up, it must be kind of early where you're watching this. Or late where you're watching this, I'm saying hello, and this is part 21 of the Mindset March Challenge, where I am giving you one aspect of Bob Proctor's teaching every day in the month of March. And today, this here is the topic. This here, the reason. The reason is our greatest tool when it comes to apply everything, of course, our thinking. And this is, of course, the most important thing, to start with the thought. And the reason is what we think, analyze, compare, evaluate ideas, the information we accept, stir up, create something new, brand new ideas. We make sure that we are following the right reason and use it with other faculties, especially with imagination. That's the most important thing. So the reason is kind of a little bit tricky, and I will tell you why in a few minutes from here. So today the question is, okay, why is reason so relevant? Why should we highlight it? And what can we see as limitations for the reason, and how can we develop the reason? And so just that you know why you see me at that time and why I'm doing this every day. So this is the Mindset March Challenge, where I am remembering Bob Proctor, the legend and leader of self-development, and what I have learned from him. So let's go to the point. What is the reason? Why is it important? And so I am going directly to a kind of really new thing that I'm doing for the first time. I'm starting with a story and wanted to read this to you. It's kind of a real cool story. And this has something to do, of course, with reason. Let's go start with a story right away. So, this is by the author Price Pritchett. He says, I'm sitting in a quiet room at the Millcroft Inn, a peaceful place hidden behind the pine trees, about an hour out of Toronto. It's just past noon, late July, and I'm listening to the desperate sounds of a life or death struggle going on a few feet away. There's a small fly burning out the last of its short life's energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of a window pane. The whining wings tell the poignant story of the fly's strategy. Try harder, but it's not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is a part of the trap. It is impossible for the fly to try hard enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, this little insect has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. This fly is doomed to die. It will die there on the windowsill. Across the room, 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside world it seeks. With only a fraction of the effort now being wasted, it could be free of this self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there. It would be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach, something dramatically different? How did it get so locked on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offers the most promise for success? What logic is there in counting until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? Yeah, No doubt, this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it's an idea that will kill. Trying harder is not necessarily the solution for it to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. Sometimes, in fact, it's part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for a breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for success. So this was out of the book U Squared from Price Pritchett. That is the introduction and the question and the idea. Yeah. So is there only this kind of one reason? And obviously it's not. And so what if, yeah, of course, here Price Pritchett says the fly is going to die, but I just love happy endings. And yeah, just wanted to show you my interpretation how if the fly would have now found the right way out or would have changed direction, would have seen that there is the open door, how this would look like. Look at this, and here a fly could be finally free. Yeah, so you have seen, so I love, we already had an insect story on, yeah, on the perspective 2 days ago. That was on not the perspective, but the perception in this regard. So hope you like the story. If you don't like the story and you say, oh, why are there so many insects? So what should this compare to anything? Not to worry. I also have a story for you that is a little more human. And this brings us to Chicago. Beautiful Chicago. Hello to my friends in Chicago. This story is about a man, a salesman who was trying to meet his third quarter goals. He had big sales. He had a big sales opportunity in Chicago. He flew to Chicago, where he got off the plane. The plane was late, and so he was worried. He was going to be late for his appointment. He rushed to the rental car agency, signed the contract, grabbed the keys, and said, oh, I need a map, grabbed the map, and rushed off. He did not find the right street and getting more and more flustered, knowing that if he missed this appointment, his whole third quarter, maybe his job, was going to fall. And he said, okay, I have to take a deep breath here, and I have to be more focused. I have to try harder. I have to think more positive. And finally, after 30 minutes to find his way, he didn't find his way. He happened to glance at the map he was using, and he recognized that the map was for Detroit. So when he was rushing to the rental car, he just grabbed a map, and this was here not the right map. Of course, this is a story from the time when we didn't have navigation systems in the car installed, but you get the idea, okay? So we are oftentimes heading into one direction and saying, okay, this is going to be it, this has to be it. And so this is a little bit about what I like about Bob Proctor and how he sees the idea with reason. So he thinks it's the most important mental faculty we have. It's a very important tool, but if we use it wisely. And so now there is that, this caveat here that there is a limitation on the reason. And or I would say a limitation on the reason, and this is what is meant by it. It's the gift of the reason has to be correctly applied. Its power produces positive or negative outcomes, okay? So limitations could be wrong assumptions. Do you believe that you could do a whole lot better if you just tried a little bit harder, like the fly, like whatever, like the sales representative? Are you doing things for the wrong reason? That's also a question. Have you really checked your reason? Is that still valid? Do you have to think again, are these goals also really what you want? And have you been operating on autopilot? So it's also important to really check if, yeah, the goal is still valid, if your way, we already had this with a purpose. So if you're reaching for your purpose, you should never go on autopilot in this regard. Another here quote from Bob Proctor: trying harder is not going to make it better. Most of the time it makes it worse. And then the second set of limitations here, being reasonable. So we talk about reason. A lot of people misunderstand it for being reasonable. So you cannot do a lot of things that are fancy, that are too wild, okay? Don't let reason hold you back. Too often, being reasonable means stifling or sacrificing our own dreams and goals out of fear. Fear is fear of disappointing someone, fear of being laughed at, fear of going against the crowd or disrupting the status quo. Exactly. And so this is why also Napoleon Hill said, if you're 98% of the people are going one way, but if you're meeting two people who are going the other way, follow these two people. So they are following their intuition in this regard. And so intuition and reason seem to play a major role. I also show this later, so that you should always be aware that the reason is not the only mental faculty, that you should also include the other mental faculties, such as the imagination or the intuition into it. Exercises now. So how can you also improve your reason faculty and find that it's the right reason? So here, one first idea is practice being unreasonable. Most people think being reasonable means stifling or sacrificing their own dreams. We already had this, and that is not possible to disappoint someone. But neuroscience shows us that we use only about 5% of our capacities. So venture into uncharted territories and practice being unreasonable. So that sounds a little bit theoretical, okay? So write down ways to holding you back from going what you really want to do in life, because you're afraid or you might find it unacceptable or impossible. Then relax and use reason to come up with a list of new ideas and strategies to get what you want. Okay, so if you don't get the promotion in one way, you might get the promotion in another way. Or you might, if it's about increasing your income, then the promotion might be one possibility. There might also be other ways to get an increase of income. And so if we are talking about income, so this is here something wild. Make a list of 10 ways you could turn your annual income into your monthly income. Wow. Okay. And here, the most important things: do not let reason holding you back. So these things about, okay, cannot do this because of. So this is something where you shouldn't be, in the status quo, in the grid, like everybody, and holding you back because of reason in this regard. So you have a reasoning faculty, and this is like the concluding remark here, that you can apply to the current state, but you also want to use your reason to remember that you have an intuition and you have an imagination and you have a perfect memory, not only backwards but forwards, and you can use your reason to take a look at the circumstance. So what Bob Proctor is recommending in this. Yes, and this is the last about the reason today. And thank you very much for coming with me here in this in the last 6 days when it comes to the mental faculties. If you are interested in what I have been doing so far, there is always a possibility to remember and subscribe to my channel, and to go find the YouTube channel. It's called Live Broadcasting Rocks, and this is the Mindset March Challenge. I'm going to continue this, as you see, like later or earlier, whatever, but there are so many things that Bob Proctor covered in his teachings, basically, and this is super cool to share with you. I'm super excited about this idea, and I'm also happy about your positive feedback altogether. Okay, subscribe to this channel for more inspirational content.